Good morning. All right, we got ourselves a show here. Good morning, everyone. Anthony Glenn, buy and hold invest out of sunny Southern California. Oh man, we're back in action, y'all. So what's up? How you guys doing? Okay. Anthony Glenn, buy and hold invest out of sunny Southern California. Real estate secrets live and in color. Okay, for those of you who missed the show yesterday, we had a pretty good show. Okay, today what I'm going to be talking about is I'm strictly specifically talking about investment opportunities and strategies. My name is Anthony Glenn. I'm a buy and hold investor out of sunny Southern California. If you guys were in the space yesterday, put a one in the chat, man, because right now we already have some people that's on the live, and today I'm going to be discussing a couple of things about how to invest with veterans. How to invest with veterans. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a real estate broker out of sunny Southern California. I've been doing real estate. What's up, Devil Dog 73? Salute. Okay, I'm going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how to buy or build a multifamily with a veteran. Okay, and then also we're going to be talking about some opportunities for military spouses and everything else too. So I'm super excited to have you guys here on the show today. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Who was on the live yesterday? Who was on my live yesterday? Who missed the live yesterday? I'm trying to figure out who was in the building yesterday. Let me see here. Let me copy this link real quick so you guys can get into the Facebook group. Okay. All right. So I'm currently live on Instagram, LinkedIn, and let's see here. I'm going to pin this link here for you guys. Give me 1 second, okay, as we get set up and we get the show started. Okay, so yesterday, for those of you who were not on the show, okay, I basically talked about how to invest in real estate utilizing the, some innovative negotiation strategies. For those of you that are here, we talked about should you lower the purchase price of the property. We talked about the amortization schedule yesterday, and we talked about the market. And what I'm going to get started with, guys, is we're going to specifically start talking about a couple of things that's going to help you guys win, okay? So if you're on the show right now, down at the bottom, you will see a share button, and I'm going to rock out for the next couple of hours, and we're going to be discussing some negotiation strategies that you guys could leverage. And then also we're going to be talking about the VA construction loan. That's what we're going to be talking. What's up, Otis? Let's see here. Let me get some people in the room. Let me get Otis in here so we can get the show rocking out. And for those of you who are live on the show, first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much because we have broke the 4,000 members in our Facebook group. Okay, we just broke that this week. And then also we have broke the 7,200 mark. We're almost there, guys. So for those of you that are on TikTok, I really want to say I appreciate you guys pulling up, taking notes. And I think we're going to have a really good show today. So we have a program that's out, okay? And I see Valor Homes with Brandon. Shout out to Brandon that's on Instagram. Shout out to him. Let's talk about a couple of things regarding buying a single family home first, okay? And some of the compensating factors on how I decide on whether or not I'm going to buy a property or not, okay? So let's get to it, all right? Put a one in the chat if you guys are ready to go. Okay, because I'm ready to go, man. And I think we're going to have a good show today, Otis. Otis, you want to let the people know who you are and what you do?
What's up, man? I'm a full-time real estate investor out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Looks like the live was paused. Uh-oh. I guess we're gonna have to wait on it.
Oh, when I click out, can you hear me? Or no?
Okay, I can hear you now. I said the live was paused, but you back now. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm a full-time real estate investor. I'm a former mortgage broker of 13 years. I'm a licensed broker in California and Georgia, and I founded an educational training platform called 4 Data Points Academy, and everything else is all real estate all the time. What's going on, brother?
Not too much, man. I'm ready to get into it. I think we're going to have a big live right now. We already have 13 people on TikTok. Okay, so we already have 36 people here that's on the live. So I think we're going to have a good show today. What are you working on right now? What is the number one project that you're working on? Let's get into that. Like, what project is Otis James working on today?
Actually, it is scaling up. So, examining the business plan and just fine tuning it more for just planning purposes, not necessarily to get funding or anything like that, but just more of a roadmap. So I've been working on that, man, and we're going to be taking on some more positions, bringing in some more people, so that we can teach more people. So that's the priority right now.
I'm loving it, brother. And then make sure you guys give Otis a follow. Okay, guys. Listen, we're gonna have a good show. We're gonna go straight into the game, long and hard for 2 straight hours. Okay. So, well, that doesn't sound. Hold on. No Diddy. Hold on, man. Hold on. Oh, wait. We're going to go for approximately 120 minutes about real estate. So, guys, if you guys are enjoying and y'all are ready for us to go, guys, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Number one, we're going to be talking about the VA construction loan and how you can partner. Number two, we're going to be talking about strategies to do a joint venture with a VA loan. Number three, we're going to talk about the 4 data points in here. Okay. Number 4, we're going to talk about how to pick contractors. So, guys, if you guys are here for those topics right now, and you're ready to go, for those of you that are on TikTok, get us up to 5 shares right now. Here's the rules of engagement. If you're on the live, the only way that we can get more people in here is that you're going to have to hit that share button. But guys, I'm ready to go, man. Good morning, Bruno. How you doing this morning, brother?
Hey, I'm good, man. How's everybody doing over here?
Wake your ass up, Bruno. How you doing this morning, Bruno?
Your punk ass up.
Wake your ass up, dog.
In the bathroom. Put your camera on, player.
Bruno probably eating right now.
Oh shit! Hey, Otis, man. No, I'm not in the bathroom, dog. But hey, I was gonna say, dog, how do you work the camera, bro? So you can go live like this thing. Every time I try to go to turn the camera on, it says I'm too much of a loser because I don't have enough followers.
Hey, I've always been able to turn the camera on. There's just a button that says camera down there on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't let me.
Do you got a Nokia flip phone?
He probably, that's why. Ian, do you have the camera button on your phone for TikTok Live?
No, you just got to hit your little profile thing, right? It tells me when I hit the camera, it says you need live access needed to go live.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
you guys probably don't have, you probably don't either. There's one or two things. You haven't verified your account. They won't allow you to go on camera unless you verify who you are. So you're probably going to have to verify that you can get on camera with Otis. But well, let's go to Bruno. Let's go in alphabetical order. Bruno, can you let the people know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, man. So I'm a real estate investor and an educator down here in Southern California. Retired Marine, and just excited to be here, man. Let's get to it.
Fantastic. Ian, what about you, man? Can you let the people know who you are and what you do?
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Right. We're still in the morning. Yeah. Ian Jensen. I'm a buy and hold investor. I got some experience with the multi-unit space, but I'm a full-time real estate agent here is what we do primarily. And educator now, pretty much like a semi-part-time educator now, right? So we're here to give everything we can to y'all so that way you got all the information you need to grow. And we are growing fast too. We're getting a lot of people. We got a skill bridge program, if you know what that is. I just shared it on my Facebook. So if you guys are interested in getting connected with us and moving in step, then we have a lot of opportunities. So let's go, let's get it, and start sharing the knowledge, Tony.
Fantastic. I'm loving it, man. Okay, so guys, if you guys are ready for us to kick it like a sensei, let's get into it. Okay, we're going to start straight up with let's talk about the market. Ian, I'm going to come to Ian here in a few minutes, but let's talk about a couple of things that's happening in the market in regard to investing. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you guys believe that the interest rates are too high. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe that they're not high. Okay, I want to get a gauge of the room right now. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or LinkedIn, or wherever you're checking in at, put a 1 in the chat if you believe that interest rates are high. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe that they're not. Okay, because we're going to talk to you guys about a couple of things, and I'm gonna go to Otis to give his analysis first, and then this is rapid fire real estate, guys. So we're gonna be answering questions really fast. That way we get engagement for everyone. Otis, are you concerned with the interest rates?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Because I remember when interest rates rose up to just under 19% back in 1981. So when people say interest rates are too high or too low, I always ask them, well, relative to what? If you're comparing it to the 40-year lows we had a couple of years ago, then yeah, all interest rates are going to be too high. But now there's, the correction happened, and I just don't think they're too high. As an investor, we calculate that into the deal anyway. So if the interest rate is higher, that means the cost of money is higher. That means our monthly obligation on the asset is going to be higher. I need to take that into consideration when evaluating deals and negotiating during the purchase process. So it's all just a piece of the puzzle, man, and you just have to be able to put the whole puzzle together to determine your way forward. So I don't think they're high. I mean, we also use hard money in asset based lending. You're talking about 10, 11, and 12% to get these deals done. So I think it depends on who you ask, and I also think it depends on your point of reference.
Bingo, 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 guys. And then the reason why we're talking to you guys about this, I want everybody to put the word investor in the chat. If you're on the live right now, I want every single person to put investor. And the reason why I'm telling you guys to put these words in the chat and for you guys to engage with us is what it does is it helps us trigger the algorithm. And we're going to be talking about some of the alternatives to the interest rate, and then like why interest rates don't matter to investors. See, a lot of people are looking at the cost versus the value of real estate. Okay, if you're looking at it from an investor's lens, you are going to look at your exit strategy, and you're also going to be looking at, okay, number one, what location do I want to buy? Number two, what is going to be the demand for the property? Number three, is it scarce? Number four, what's going to be the demand? Because those are the compensating factors that's going to drive people to our property. And then let me talk to Ian real quick. Ian, can you tell us some alternatives? Can you give us like 2 alternatives to high interest rates?
He's in the lobby at a Planned Parenthood, so he can't really come.
Can you explain that question a little bit more, please?
What are some alternatives if you're looking to get an investment property? What are some alternatives to high interest rates?
Seller financing and a debt service coverage ratio.
Can you? Okay.
Debt service loan. All right. So seller financing. Seller financing is basically like, hey, Mr. Seller, I'll give you this amount of money down right now, and I'll pay you $1,000 a month until you're paid off, and I'll give you 8% or market rate interest rate. Are you okay with that? And then they hypothetically agree, and then you draft up some paperwork so that everything's tight, so that way nobody's getting legally exposed to anything, and you run it down range. You pay that person. You can control that property. You could refinance it. You can sell it, whatever. It's just the seller becomes the bank. So before you get your money, the seller has to get paid off. And then when it comes to a debt service loan, that is a little bit more complicated, but it's a really cool feature if you have the opportunity, is you can take a loan relative to the ability of that property to produce income. So instead of you qualifying for income, that property qualifies for income. So the bank looks at that property, says, okay, this property makes $1 million a year. Because of that, we can loan out this much money because that property is going to produce income. And then therefore you're now responsible for that loan, and then the business makes those payments.
And guys, as we're talking about these things, guys, listen to me. Right now, I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to get more information out of this space. So if you're in here, guys, and you guys want us to rock out, we're going to go 2 straight hours with talking about real estate, guys. You guys could ask us any question that you want to ask. If you're a realtor and you're trying to partner with us, we are looking for a few good real estate agents that are looking to interconnect with us. And if you are looking to become a future investor, in a couple of minutes, we're going to see how you, everything that we're going to talk about is going to live in either on our YouTube channel for the replays. So as we're talking about these things, guys, listen to us. We will text you the replay to this room so you can go back and listen to this. I'm going to give you another 2 other alternatives to the higher interest rates. Okay, and one of them are interim principal payments. Okay, that's the first one. Okay, so everybody put IPP in the chat. Interim principal payments, and then the next one that we're going to talk about is interest rate buy down. Okay, so now here's an example. We covered this yesterday, but we want to drill this in because if I'm looking to invest in a piece of real estate, most investors are looking, okay, if I'm going to get credits from the seller, right? That means sellers, Otis is selling the property. Okay. I'm a buyer, and Otis property has been on the market for a little bit of time. I'm going to go in there and see if I can get some type of deal that's going to be favorable for me. So instead of getting the money into reducing the price of the property, I'm going to get something called concessions. Okay, everybody put the word concessions in the chat, and then we're gonna talk about that. I want Otis, Ian, and then Otis to give us some examples of concessions. But I'm gonna essentially explain what I mean by this. Seller selling the property at $500,000. Okay, I want to go in at I want a $20,000 incentive in the form of either concessions or a principal gift. Okay. Or interest rate buy down. So essentially what that basically means is that we're going to cover those three. So right now, put a number 3. Every single person put a number 3 in the chat. Okay. That's on the live right now, because we're breaking down how to effectively negotiate from an investor's perspective. Okay. And we're going to break down this terminology of these things and show you how you can implement them into negotiating on buying real estate. Majority of people don't talk about this stuff, but we like to talk about it because these are alternatives and creative ways to negotiate. Okay, so let's go with Ian first. Ian, can you explain what a concession is, and then Otis, can you give an example of how you would utilize $20,000 from the seller in your purchase?
All right, got it. Hey, so guys, a concession, Matt, that's something that you've been able to extract from the deal in terms of the contract. A concession is something that the seller is giving up to the buyer. All right, so by phrasing it as a concession, you get a little bit more contractual, freedom to use those funds in different locations, right? So one of the things that we educate about is writing in the term seller to credit the buyer X number of dollars in closing costs and concessions. So this way, in case you get a surplus of funds and the closing costs are paid for, that money doesn't go back to the seller. It can get used up in a variety of different ways for the buyer on their side of things. So you can pay off things like credit cards or car loans, student loans, anything like that. So as long as there's a lot of things that you could there's a lot of different places you could put that money before the seller has to get any of that back. So it's the best way to maximize the opportunity if you were able to negotiate a great credit from the seller.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. And that's a quick example. Okay. So I want you guys to put, here's what I want to do, guys. We're going to go through each loan. We're going to utilize just regular loans. We're going to talk about conventional loans, VA loans, and then we're going to talk about FHA loans. Just those 3. Okay. So right now for conventional, I want everybody to put conventional in the chat, and I want you to put 3, 6, and a 9. Everybody do it. Now, the reason why we're doing it this way, guys, and the reason why we're breaking this stuff down is so you guys could understand it, because majority of these agents don't know the loan side. So most of these investors don't even know that you can get and move around interim principal payments. And what we're going to be talking about is going to be unique in nature, so you guys could actually implement this into your investment strategy. Okay. So conventional, 3, 6, and 9. Those numbers. Everybody put conventional 3, 6, 9 in the chat. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys to do this is because as we're doing these strategies, you guys and people come into the room as we get bigger, then when people come back, they can go back to the notes. Okay. Everybody put conventional, a 3, a 6, and a 9. Okay. Now, here's the reason why I'm telling you guys to do that. Conventional loans, if you're putting less than 10% down, that means you're doing a conventional loan. That's a loan product. Okay. You have to put the max seller concession that you can get. That means the max amount of money is going to be 3% of the loan amount. Okay. So 10% down, 3% seller concession max. Okay. Now, if you're doing 10 to 25% down, that number is going to be 6% max seller concession. And then if they're putting more than 25% down, they can put you can get 9% seller concession. That's why I told you guys 3, 6, and 9. Let me talk about this again. Conventional loans, 3% for less than 10%. So that means that, let me give you an example, okay? So I'm gonna do a little bit of math. That way you guys could understand what I'm talking about, so if you guys could catch up. So this is how you negotiate. So Otis, how would you write that offer what would you write in that offer if you were buying the property?
And I wanted the concessions?
Yes. Can you just tell people, we're going basically like as if nobody has ever bought a property before or never invested in real estate. And we're going to talk about how this has to be written in the offer so you can get those credits. Go ahead, Brother Otis.
I would put in the other terms section of the purchase agreement, 3% concession to be utilized towards non-recurring closing costs.
Bingo. Okay. So the reason why we're saying this stuff, right, is because the majority of these real estate agents that are out there are going to tell you guys to reduce the price. Okay. Listen what I'm telling you guys. If you're doing the burst strategy, reducing the price isn't always the best thing. Okay. So as we're talking about writing these offers, okay, and Otis, feel free to jump in, Bruno, this is popcorn style. Rapid fire real estate guys, if you have questions about what we're talking about, we're telling you the secret strategies to negotiate on investing in properties. So again, let me recap real quick. Conventional loans, which is you're putting money down, okay? This is one of you have to have a really superior credit to utilize the conventional loan. And if you're putting less than 10% down, you can only ask for 3% of concessions credits. If you're doing a 10 to 25% down, you can ask for 6%. If you put more than 25% down, you can put 9%. That is the conventional loan. Are there any questions or comments that you guys would like to implement into what I'm talking about? Anybody want to add anything else?
Yeah, it depends on what you're going to do with the actual property, right? So, if I'm buying a house that I'm personally going to live in at a 7% interest rate, I'm pretty confident that in the next 5, 6, 7 years, interest rates may go down because it's cyclical. And so if I'm putting money into buying down the rate, then as soon as I refinance, I just wasted the money because the real savings is when you amortize those savings over 30 years. So what I'm going to do is, if the house isn't perfect, let's say I'm buying a house for $500,000 and it's not perfect. And this is if I'm moving it into myself. This is times 10 if you're a real estate investor. But let's say I want to update the kitchen. It's going to cost me $20,000 to do that. And the seller is offering me, a $20,000 credit. I'm just going to have the seller, because it's all coming out of the same seller's proceeds anyway. I'm going to have the seller hold $20,000 in escrow that I can use to pay my contractor to update my kitchen. That way I don't have to come out of pocket to do that after the fact. Sometimes it's not that buying down the rate isn't the best option. Sometimes it is, but it depends on how soon you're going to exit out of that financing. And exit could be a sale or a refinance. So if it's not your dream home that you're going to be, 30 years there, then you may, maybe you want to buy down the rate. But if it's not your dream home, maybe you don't. So you have to look at all of these things to determine what's going to be suitable for you. And your real estate agent should be asking you these questions because they're the ones that should be taking the lead on this process.
And that's a perfect example. And Bruno, I'm coming to you next. Let me do a quick room reset, guys. Welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. Shout out to Bruno Ian and my brother Otis James. Guys, make sure you guys follow them. Guys, we're going to break down FHA and VA also. And if you guys want this document that I'm reading from, okay, the concessions rule, quick cheat sheet. Okay, we're going to post this in our Facebook group today so you guys could actually physically see. Get in there and download that. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want to download that free concessions cheat sheet. Because what we're going to be doing, guys, we're going to be doing stuff like this so you guys could actually read it. Because sometimes, like me, I have to see it, and when people are telling me that, I'm not going to understand it, right? So we're going to post for those of you that are interested in getting the concessions cheat sheet, we're going to give you guys a phone number. The number is 760-573-2731. Ian, can you put that number in the chat? 760-573-2731. Okay, shoot us the word WIN to that number, and then what we'll do is we'll give you the links to where you can download that. 760-573-2731. You're going to text the word WIN for those of you that are on the show. Okay, and then we'll give you that concessions cheat sheets. That way you guys could have it. And before you even go into it, understand it. So when you guys are negotiating and things of that nature, you will be able to effectively negotiate by utilizing this strategy. I don't know about you, but if I was a realtor and if I was not a realtor, but if I was a buyer, I would want that real estate agent to know about concessions. And let me tell y'all a little bit. Let me tell y'all some breaking news. Okay, y'all ready for this breaking news? Majority of these real estate agents don't know about negotiating. They only care about selling you a property. That's it. So guys, if you are getting a real estate, if you're going out here and you're represented by a real estate professional or even a wholesaler, okay, what Otis just talked about is an alternative way to negotiate. Now, Bruno, can you talk to us about the escrow holdback? What is escrow and what does that escrow holdback look like? And what type of construction can I do with that? And why concessions and reoccurring, non-recurring closing costs is important to write your offer.
Yeah, for sure, man. Before I get into that, the thing that I wanted to augment Otis's point, man, was, hey, man, like it's the importance of what he said, right? Like I don't want us to miss that. And before we move on to anything else, I want to drive home the importance of understanding, right? Ultimately, what he's talking about is getting into something with an exit strategy, right? And creating that business plan that you have into the way that you're going to be investing, because all these things, all these factors that everybody thinks about or considers, right? If it lines up with your exit strategy and the plan that you have going into it, that's what's going to drive your tolerance for the interest rate. That's what's going to drive, how it is that you go about utilizing the credits and concessions that you get, right? And that goes straight into the question that you asked, Tony, about like, hey, escrow holding back the money and everything else. So if you're going about it in the manner that Otis is talking about, where it's just like, hey man, if I'm going to be doing a BRRRR, if I'm going into where I'm going to make some renovations, I get the money from the seller and then I apply it towards making those repairs. I have the contractor make the repairs, bill escrow, and now what you just did was you just prevented yourself from having to write a check and pull cash right from your checking account to pay for the contractor. So you use the seller's money to be able to do that, right? And it's ultimately going to be, again, lining up with what that exit strategy is. So escrow has the ability, right? Again, you got to understand what escrow is, their role, and how they operate, right? The way that I describe this to, to my clients and the people that I work with, I look at it where if we're talking about a basketball game, right? And we're going to keep it, foundation so it's easy for everyone to understand as you're tapping in. If you're looking at a basketball game and it's us versus them, right? I look at escrow as that third party, as the referees, right? Pretty much it's a non-biased third party that's involved in the transaction, whose primary purposes consist of collecting things. Those things are monies and paperwork, right? So no money ever goes directly from the seller to the buyer or vice versa. It all goes to the third party. And these folks are people that their sole purpose is to follow instructions, right? So the instructions that are given by the principals, right, or the representatives is what's going to dictate where those monies are going to go and when those monies are going to go. So you can go and you can have the contractor, do the work and everything else, and you can set clauses, right, to dictate at which point they're going to get paid and what are the specific triggering points for them to get paid. So again, guys, it all goes back to that, starting the first step, man, which is developing the plan first.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. And guys, we're growing right now. So shout out to the 17 people that are here right now, guys. Welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. Do me a favor, guys. I really need a big favor, guys. Help us grow here. Get us up to 10 shares. And the rules of engagement on TikTok, guys, for those of you that are here, we're almost at 10,000 followers. Okay. So this is these are our partners. Bruno is a real estate professional out in sunny Southern California. Ian is an investor. Otis is an investor. And I don't know what's up with these Cali people, man. I guess we the only ones out here. I guess we the only one out here winning, man. Everybody from the East Coast. Where the East Coast folks at, man? Where y'all checking in at from? Where y'all checking in?
Timberland store. They're getting the Timberlands.
Getting the butters. So guys, welcome to the show, guys. We're excited to have you guys. We really appreciate the 7,200 people that have actually gave me a follow. For those of you that are new to the show, we break down nuggets like this. And if you guys want the replays of everything that we're talking about for free, so you could go back and listen to it, okay? And then also, if you want to download that concessions cheat sheet on how to negotiate, okay, you guys are going to text the word WIN, W-I-N, not W-H-E-N for you SAT waivers, to 760-573-2731, okay? So let's get back to this part. I want to talk about this crazy part right here, guys. So property, let's break it all the way down so we can give an example. Otis, let's rock out. And Entrepreneur, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming up and supporting. So guys, let's just say that I found a property. The property needs it's dated, okay? And the property's been on the market for 120 days, okay? And the property the bones are good on the property. So that means that it has a square footage, it has a location that you want to buy the property in, okay? And then it has the bedroom and bathroom count. So it checks all of those boxes, but it has a dated kitchen and bathroom and flooring. Okay, Otis, can you explain to the people how you can leverage concessions to give us an example of how you would write that up?
Yeah. So first of all, I'd have an estimate ready to know how much I want the concession for. Now, this also, just like you mentioned before, the type of financing that you're utilizing and how much you're putting down it has a lot to do with it also. So let's say I'm putting more than 25% down. So I've got some room. I would just take the cost of upgrading the kitchen and bathrooms. I wouldn't touch the price, because actually, if I try to get the price reduced, it's actually hurting me in the long run, especially if you're doing the burn method. It's hurt me more to do that. So I keep the price.
Hold on. Check this out. Let's rewind that part. Yeah. Y'all, listen to us, what he just said, okay? The burst strategy, when you reduce the price, burst strategy has something called refinance. And when you're doing a refinance into a 30-year fixed loan, I'm not going to give it too much, but I'm going to let you break it down.
I have a good illustration because I actually did this. And I was paying all cash for a property. So I bought a duplex. It was for sale for $49,000. So I was going to give them all cash. But I told them, look, why don't you charge me $69,000 and give me a 20% credit in escrow for repairs? They're still going to net $49,000 and it's all cash. So why not? Right. But my thought process is, I'm going to put another 40 grand in the property, and I'm going to have it reappraised when I do my cash out refinance. And that appraiser is going to look at the transaction history, and then he's going to justify my improvements to see how much he can give me. I don't want him starting at $49,000 to justify my improvements. I want him starting at $69,000 and then take into account my improvements to give me a new value. Because the $20,000 credit doesn't show up in public records.
Bingo.
It just and so the sale price, I need the sale price to stay what it is. Plus, I'm going to be buying some other duplexes on that block, and I don't want my own comparable, right, to hurt me. When the appraiser goes to appraise my next property, they're going to say, "Oh, this one sold for $69,000." Well, no, it sold for $49,000. I just asked for him to sell it to me at $69,000, but that's not one of my comps. So those are all the things you have to look at when you're trying to negotiate some of these deals. And by the way, I'm usually reaching out to properties that are already listed by agents, professionals, and I take them to slaughter on this stuff all the time. There's no rebuttal that they can have for what it is that I'm trying to do, because they haven't even put a lot of thought into all of the different options that people have. So that's probably a better illustration of how reducing the property can actually hurt you as a buyer.
And this goes to anything too now, because when so let's go back to this. So I want to go over this part, and I want to hit this home so people do not miss this. Okay. So Ian, Bruno, can you guys give us a joint example of like why let's drill this in. Why would you want to get credits versus reducing the price in regard to private and public information?
I mean, it's exactly what Otis just said. It's one of those where you can't see what those credits are. So the appraiser goes off of the comps. So it's on you for you to help,
Bruno, what you eating, dog? What you eating?
Oh,
Bruno always eating something, man. Always get. I'm telling you, man. I can always guarantee when I call on Bruno, he's gonna have some damn Scooby snacks. Bruno, what you eating, dog?
In his mouth at the same time.
The double sausage is wild, dog.
They're trying to learn about real estate, damn it, right? So, God, throw me off my chi and shit. Hey, no, look, but check it out. So the credit, right? The credit isn't public, right? In the sense of the appraiser is going to go off of the comps. You create the comps. So it's a way, and the thing I was getting at is it sounds bad to say it, but it's one of those where you are able to manipulate the market in a way to where it's more advantageous, right? So it's not necessarily manipulating, but it's being smart and using the system, right? So that you can benefit yourself and put yourself in a more advantageous position.
Bingo. And I'm glad that you said that, because I want to circle back around. So if I'm negotiating and then I say, okay, Otis, I want this property. I'm going to give you what you want. And this is the reason why it's important to the real estate professional. If you're doing even I'm going to tell y'all, man, all of the orangutans, lizards, and hyenas that can't get past the real estate test are wholesalers. Okay. I'm just saying, man. I'm just keeping it real, right? All of the damn wholesale, all of the people who have felonies that have been in jail, those are the wholesalers, dog, because they can't get no real estate license. I'm playing with y'all. Don't shoot me, wholesalers. I'm just messing around with y'all, man. We know we love y'all because we work with you guys. But bro, I wanted to say that, man. But listen, a lot of these times they don't know. All they're looking at is selling the property and making a profit. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. They don't care. Listen, wholesalers want to get the bread, man. So what Otis said is that, look, man, instead of me spending my cash, there's equity position in the property. And guess what? Them giving me those credits for a distressed seller, that means that a person that needs to sell their property is actually going to benefit them better for selling me that property. Even if it's a seller that is selling the property on market with a real estate professional, it is going to be more advantageous for them to give me credits versus lower the price. I'm still writing the offer and saying, Otis, I'm gonna give you what you want for the property, but instead of you getting 500,000, I'm gonna give you the 500,000, but I'm gonna ask for you to grant me some incentives, right? In order for me to make it favorable, so it's a win-win. Now, the reason why that benefits Otis as a seller is that the credits or fees that it costs for a real estate professional to buy or sell a property is a tax write-off. So it doesn't matter what type of credits that they give me. So they're not going to get anything for lowering the price. They just sell the property at the lower price. So the net is still going to be the same. I'm going to give you what you want, but give me this credit. And the beauty of what Otis said is that if I have a bathroom that I wanted to rehab, or if I want flooring, that means that money's not out of my pocket. So I'm going to keep my cash, and then I'm going to rehab that property and get the after repair value up from the seller's proceeds. So that means that the money that's in the property, I'm going to leverage that money versus me taking that $20,000 price reduction. I'm going to take $10,000 and I'm going to redo the kitchen. So when I move into that property, and this is money from the seller, this is not my money. He's giving it to me as a concession or a credit. So then I can rehab my kitchen and close on that property. Okay. And then I have a brand new kitchen before I move in, or before I move my investors in. Okay. Amen. Now, does anybody put a 1 in the chat if you guys understood that strategy that Otis, Bruno, and Ian explained? I want to make sure you guys got it.
There's also, sometimes you don't have a choice in how you use the concessions, because if you're doing conventional financing, sometimes you have to buy down the rate, even though you would rather do a construction holdback for a new kitchen or a bathroom. Sometimes your debt to income ratio won't support you buying that property at that interest rate. So you have to utilize the seller credits to buy down the interest rate so that you can qualify because of your debt to income ratio. So that's going to be that at that point you don't have a choice, right? But it's good to understand all the options so that you can make an informed decision. If you don't have an agent that's well versed in all that stuff, then you could be making a bad decision. So I just wanted to add that 2 cents.
Absolutely. And guys, if you guys are enjoying the show, guys, put a 1 in the chat, guys. Again, welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Anthony Glenn. Make sure you give me a follow. We're very, very close to 10,000 followers. Please, please, please hit that follow button. And guys, we're going to continue to rock out. And if you guys want that concessions cheat sheet, okay, you guys are going to text the word WIN to 760-573-2731, and we will shoot you that concessions cheat sheet. Now, let's talk about this. Let's go into, I'm going to shift gears, guys, and we're going to be talking about doing a joint VA loan and then leveraging concessions and getting credits to do a bunch of different things. Now, did you guys know that if you partnered with a veteran with the VA loan, what's up, Michael? Welcome to the show. Did you guys know if you partner with a veteran with the VA loan, the seller can pay off your credit card or your back child support or your back taxes? All right. So now let's get into that, guys. So if you're here, guys, if you guys want to know how that takes place, okay, check this out. I got 19 people. Get me up to 10 shares. The rules of engagement on TikTok, guys, is for every 5 shares that we get, okay, and every 1,000 likes. Guys, if you ain't hitting no thumbs, we ain't having no fun, man. So right now, if you're on the live right now, hit the thumbs because it's going to trigger the algorithm to get more people in here. And we're giving you strategic examples on how to do this. Okay, Mark, Luxury, Keller Williams, Smart, I got you. That number, I'm going to put it in the chat, okay? 760-573-2731. We'll give you the concessions cheat sheet, okay? So if you guys want that concessions cheat sheet so you can share it, we don't care if you're a realtor or you're a loan officer. It doesn't matter. We're still going to give it to you guys so you guys could brand it like you guys made it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
So, Bruno, can you give me an example of utilizing, how would you write that offer on a VA loan or getting a seller to pay off the buyer's credit card? How would that offer look like?
What I'm doing, I'm factoring in how much credits I actually need to see if I need to adjust the purchase price. I'm going to negotiate that first, right? To see how much room I have to see what the impact is going to be on the purchase price. So if it's a deal, right? If I can score a deal, when the rates are super high and no one wants to get in, right? Because the water is too cold, right? Then I'm going to ask for the credits from the purchase price. Right. And let's say it's a little bit more competitive. I might stack some of it. You mean that if the purchase price if they're asking 500,000, I might, submit an offer at 510 and I ask for 20,000 back. Right. So, and then in the offer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the verbiage that Ian said earlier. Right. So I'm going to put in there, seller to credit, X amount or a certain percentage towards buyer's closing costs and or concessions, and I'll specify recurring, non-recurring closing costs.
Pause right there. Okay, so guys, you're gonna write this in the chat because he's telling you how to. But Bruno, I want you to break this down. So why are you putting? I want you to put the. Can I ask you a favor, please?
Yeah.
Can you put the verbiage in the chat? Now, listen. Look, guys, the reason why we're doing this, man, is because we like to support veterans and non-veterans. But the problem that we have is that there are a lot of agents that don't know how to write these offers, guys. So even if we can make an impact with people that are either buying wholesale properties and how you can get different, you're buying anything that you want to buy. Okay, you guys could do that and then write the offer specifically the way that it does. So can you do it one by one, and then you guys are going to echo it in the chat. So when people are coming on in here, they know the verbiage that they have to put in the offer. Go ahead.
Yeah. So how about that? How about I'll say it. I'll drop the number in the thing. So then if they want it in writing, they got to hit us up.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Or better yet. How about this? How about I'll put it
You
if we
say
get to
it.
the
You say it, and then
if we
we'll
get
text
to
it to him.
15 shares. How about that? Like when we get to 15 shares, I'll write it. So then like they don't even need to text nothing. But we
Bingo.
got to get to 15 shares.
I like it, man. I like it.
Okay.
So can you
So
explain it?
yeah,
Go ahead.
so the way that I write it, right, and it's what Ian said earlier. I'm just echoing what he said. I am writing it in a way that gives me the most flexibility with that, right? So at the end of the day, words mean things, right? And specifically for the underwriters. So as they process the loan and everything else, right, the verbiage has to be right for you to prevent the money from being left on the table. Okay, so then what I do is the way that I write it is seller to credit a certain amount or percentage towards buyers' recurring / non-recurring closing costs, and or concessions, VA non-allowables, rate buy downs. I think there's like one more that I'm missing. Rate buy downs, the non-allowables. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered them all. So at least it gets everything out there, right? And the reason why this matters is because of the VA handbook, right? It's because of the different guidelines. It's because of overlays, right? So it allows you to be able to manipulate where it is that you want that money to go to. Because if for concessions, right? So VA handbook, it says the maximum amount that sellers can get for concession is 4%. So if I just put down, X amount to go towards concessions, and let's say that amount comes out to 5% instead of 4, right? Then there is 1% that's just left on the table, right? So the sellers over here dancing, you know what I mean? Because they just won because you didn't word the contract correctly.
Now, and the reason why I wanted him to break that down, guys, is because if you guys, if you guys don't understand that, I just put the number in the chat. Here's why I'm telling you guys to do this, because, okay, so when they say 4% concessions rule, most people are writing offers thinking that they can only get 4%, and that's not true. You can get more. So, and the reason why you want to write it is because do you want, on a $500,000 property, do you guys want, let's do this real quick. Let me give you guys an example because I got my calculator right now. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you guys want an example of how you can point this money in different directions. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want us to do it because we'll show it to you real time. Okay, all right, and I'll break it down. Okay, Ian, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, can you give an example of the highest amount of concessions that you got on a VA loan, and then give us an example of where you pointed the money towards?
And I got a call I got to get on in 1 minute, but I'm gonna tap right back in. So
okay,
keep it going, brother.
Okay, and then I'll drop your I'll drop your stuff too.
All right, shouldn't be more than 15 minutes. I'll talk to you in a sec.
Okay. Okay.
And here, before I run down that line, just a conversation to put a pin in. I was talking to some lender, and actually, they're looking at Kerry's house. They're saying they can get 8% closing costs, and he's got it before. So I'm going to talk to you about that later. All right, so closing cost. Actually, you know what? This is a great example. That Marine with the new wife that we know that we just kind of got into a house here the other day, right? He and his wife were, very, very hardworking people, but due to a couple divorces and, lost their job during COVID, they were up to their neck in credit card debt. All right, so dude was a lineman, worked his ass off. Like his lady was a full-time mom, had like 2 jobs and plus had a side business. They were working really, really hard. But like I said, way too much credit card debt. Like I think they were up to like 70% debt to income ratio with this house. But because we were able to hustle at a certain, like this family normally would not have been able to buy a house. But because of the way we structured the deal, I think it was like a $540,000 house, and I think I got $25,000 worth of credit. All right. And what we were able to do is cover all their closing costs and then take everything else that was left over, which I think was close to like $8 or $9 grand, and then put that down to pay off their credit card debt to make their debt to income ratio in a better position for the bank to approve that loan. So now they have a big family. I think they had 7 children between the two of them. Now they got a great big house where there's plenty of room for everybody to live. It's got a nice piece of property so they can kind of stretch out and not be in each other's hair. And they got a big jump on their credit card debt to be paid off. And they have a good sustainable place where they're not losing money on rent anymore. Like these little things that you could do, like, imagine if you got credit card debt out there, imagine what 10 grand could do for you. That could save you a couple $100 a month, and that all helps to steamroll and snowball and help out your whole potential to pay off debt faster.
Okay, and here's an example, guys. I'm gonna give you guys an example. Okay, so let's just say that I want every single person to put $500,000 in the chat. Okay, let's walk through this scenario so I can give you guys an example. Okay, 500,000. Everybody put 500,000 in the chat. Let me give you an example. 500,000. Put 500,000 in the chat right now, people. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys how you can get more than. Now here's a trick question. Bruno, is closing cost a concession? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Bingo. Okay, so
Ian, that is very doable, man. That 8% is absolutely doable, bro.
bingo, 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 guys. And this is the reason why we talk about this stuff, because a lot of people don't get it. Okay, so now let's go 500,000. Everybody put 500,000. Let me show you how you can get more credits from the actual seller. Okay, so let's just do some quick math real quick. Okay, so let's just say that I wanted to buy a property and the property was at $500,000. That's my purchase price of the property. Okay, so all right, now what will happen is that I'm going to go in and then I'm going to say, all right, y'all see my calculator? Put a 1 in the chat if you can see my calculator right now. Okay, all right, I'm going to show it to you real time. Put a 1 in the chat. I'm going to show you how this works, guys. Okay, and get the shares up, guys. We've been talking for an hour. Don't be selfish, guys. Get the shares up right now. 5 more shares. I'm gonna break this down on how you guys can get money from the seller, and you can point the money in different directions to save you some money in negotiating. Okay, so now here's the deal. All right, so now let's take 500,000. They say a 4%. 4% is going to be the rule that I can only get for concessions. So I'm going to multiply that times 4. Hit the percent sign. That means that I can get $20,000 of credit for concessions. Now, a concession and an interest rate buy down is different. So the VA loan allows me to get an extra 2% of the loan amount specifically for an interest rate buy down. So let's do this. Okay, so 500,000. I'm going to multiply that times 2 and then hit the percent sign. $10,000. Okay, so $20,000, 4% for of the purchase price for concessions, 2% of the loan amount for buying down the rate. And then let's just say I had closing cost credits that I wanted to cover, and I wanted to get my own closing cost fees paid. The seller can pay my closing costs. So let's just say that closing cost was $10,000. Boom. So I got $20,000 of concessions. That means that I can, for the VA loan, that's a credit or balance towards judgments. Okay, paying down my credit card. I can get 2% for buying down my interest rate. That means that I can get 40 grand or more for a $500,000 purchase. So instead of negotiating the purchase price down to $460,000, right, which I reduced the price, I'm going to write that offer at $500,000, and then I'm going to ask for $40,000 of credit. So that way I keep money in my pocket, right? Then I can have extra, instead of me doing all of the repairs, I can fix my kitchen instead of taking that. And guys, listen, once I get to 15 shares right now, Bruno and I are going to show you how much money you save in interest if you was to keep $10,000 in your pocket, right? And you was to keep $10,000 in your pocket and then get seller credits of 10 grand, and then you did a interim principal payment. Everybody put IPP in the chat right now. Interim principal payment. Okay. So now, let me do a quick room reset. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the concessions rules and how we would negotiate. Okay. And then we're going to be talking to you guys about how you guys could leverage, negotiation strategies to do this. If you guys want the concessions cheat sheet, you guys are going to text us WIN to 760-573-2731. Well, we'll send you guys this cheat sheet so you guys could understand it. And shout out to the 41 people that are on Instagram Live. We appreciate you guys pulling up. Bruno, let's go over can you pull up a calculator so we can talk about some math? Ian, can I use you guys? Are you guys prepared to rock out the calculator?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so now let's go over what a $500,000 property, what $10,000 from the seller. The seller's giving me 10 grand, and I'm going to see how much interest I would pay at a 5%, and I'm going to see how much interest I would pay at a 4.5% by utilizing $10,000 to utilize this towards buying the interest rate down. Okay. All right. So let's do a real-time example. Okay. So Ian is going to work this scenario out. And guys, if you guys put a 1 in the chat, if you guys want us to work through how much interest difference that you're going to pay on a $500,000 property at a 5% and a 4.5%. On a $500,000 property, to get me from a 5 to a 4.5%, that's going to take me approximately, let's see, 500,000 times 2% equals $10,000. So that means I'm going to ask the seller to give me $10,000 to buy down my interest rate. Now let's work through this here. Are you ready, Bruno and Ian? I'm ready to go. Who's ready?
Let's go.
Let's show them a mathematical example. Okay. So right now, Ian, what I want you to do is I want you to take 5 and then hit the percent sign.
What, you mean 500,000?
No, 5, hit the percent sign.
Yep.
Divided by 12.
Yep.
Times 500,000.
$2,083.
2083. Everybody put 2083 in the chat. Every single person put 2083. You're going to miss this, guys. You got to follow me because I'm showing you the fundamental difference of lowering the purchase price with 10 grand, or I'm going to show you the difference with taking that $10,000 credit from the seller. This is not your money, okay? This is the seller's money, okay? Now we're going to show you at a 4.5% interest rate how much interest you're going to pay. This is the cost of borrowing that money per month, okay? Now we're going to go 4.5. Ian, you typing too many numbers. We're going step by step.
$1,875 for a 4.5% interest rate on $500,000.
Okay, so what was it? 18 what?
75.
1875. Okay. So that means that what's the difference between 1875 and 2083?
$400? No, $200.
So guys, that $10,000 credit from the seller will save you $200 a month in monthly payments. Now, put a 1 in the chat if you guys understood that. Put a 2 in the chat if you didn't understand that. Yeah, Mo Giddy, I'm on YouTube.
Way of doing it. That's a really simple way of doing it.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, no, it's good because it gives people a real numbers ahead of time, not just like, oh, about this or that.
This is going to give you real numbers of what your interest payment is, how your interest payment is going to change. Okay, so guys, this is fundamental. Guys, look. I'll do it and I'll show you my calculator. We'll do it real time. That way you can see it as I do it. Okay. All right. So, but no, I'm not doing that crap until I get 15 shares. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. Guys, we're talking about utilizing credits from we're talking about utilizing credits from the seller. That means the seller is giving us this money instead of you utilizing your own money. And then my brother Uno Bruno, okay, is going to show you why you want to keep that $10,000 in your pocket instead of doing it as a down payment, and why you're going to utilize that credit to do an interim principal payment. Now, guys, we need 5 more shares, guys, and then get me up to 1,000 likes right now as we're doing this. Anthony Glenn, buy and hold investor out of sunny Southern California. Shout out to everybody that's on the live right now. If you guys want to get on a free consultation call with us so we can break down your individual scenario, where you could save some money, okay, and then actually leverage these strategies to do innovative strategies on how to buy properties as an investor versus as a consumer, put a 1 in the chat, guys, because you guys could get on a free consultation call with us. And on that consultation call, we'll give you the information with the concessions cheat sheet, and then we'll put it in our Facebook group so you guys can get in there and download it. Does anybody have any questions that's on the live right now that they would like to propose to us before I break down as we're waiting on 15 shares? I'm almost at, for those of you, you should be banging that, hitting those thumbs, guys. We're at the top of the hour. You guys got us for 59 more minutes. So, guys, if you guys are enjoying the show, put a 1 in the chat, guys. We're breaking down creative strategies. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how an interim principal payment, well, that $10,000 versus you putting a down payment, how you can dump that money into your property after you purchase it, and how it's going to save you over how that $10,000 is going to save you at least $30,000 or more. Okay. Now, we're not going to go through this scenario until we get to, okay, we have 1,000. Thank you, guys. Get me up to, I need 5 more shares down. If you're on here and you're listening to us, give us 5 more shares. And guys, we do these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bruno, Bruno, are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Can you do a quick reset real quick and then get some, do a quick room reset while I'm setting up my calculator?
Yeah, no, I just want to welcome everybody for tapping in, man. We're over here showing you guys everything that you need to do in order for you to be able to get started in real estate investing, man. So if you've known absolutely nothing before, by tapping into us and listening to some of the stuff that we're telling you, right? We're talking to you guys from experience. We're talking to you guys from a trial and error perspective. A lot of the things that we're sharing with you, right? One's because we're professional in the field, but 2 is because we have learned from our most valuable lessons, which is the mistakes that we are making, right? So we've made a lot of the mistakes. So some of the things that we're telling you is to prevent you from having to make the same mistakes. So the big thing is this, guys. If you find value in the information that we're giving you, right? It costs you free $99 for you to get the game, and all we're asking for in return, right, is for you guys to share the room, get the word out, and let people know about what it is that we're doing here, right? This is our way of being able to give back, and we know that by us doing that, the universe will pay us back, 10 times over. So we appreciate you guys tapping in. We're going to be here with you guys every single day, or from Tuesday through Thursday, whether we start at 9:30 or 11, it don't matter. We'll start it, man, and we showing up.
And guys, man, and if you guys are enjoying the show, man, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow Bruno. Please make sure you follow Ian and get us up. Help us get to 10,000 followers on TikTok, please. If you're here and you're learning something, guys, all you got to do if you're coming in here, we don't care about the people who swipe out, but I know that if we're telling you guys how to negotiate on properties, and those of you on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you the YouTube channel, after I close this out, the replay will be here. So you guys will be able to go back and listen to this replay, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys where on the calculator, so what I'm talking about. And I'm going to show you, I'm showing you this because in the amortization schedule, okay, I'm going to show you guys this part right here. I'm going to show TikTok first, okay? All right, where $10,000 is, okay? $10,000 on my amortization schedule after you close will save you $56,000. So that means if you wrote a check after you close on your property for 10 grand at a 6.5% interest rate, that will save you $56,342 in interest payments. Okay? Let me make it bigger so you guys can see this. Okay? So that means that, okay, you close. Why is Ian's page tiny? Ian, you need to get those videos up, bro. Yes. Okay, so Ian, they're going to your page and they're telling you, man, they're trying to give you some love, bro, but they say your video game sucks, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. So does anybody have any questions about interim principal payments or or concessions? Going once, going twice. Okay, so Bruno and Ian, let's talk about this. Let's go. You guys, I'm gonna yield the mic to you guys. Let's go on here and talk about how a non-veteran can invest with the VA loan, and then I want you guys to rock out and talk about the actual VA construction loan. Bruno, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking. So JV, right? So how it is that a veteran and a non-veteran can partner. Okay, and then the advantages to it. So if you have a veteran that has all the entitlement, right, and has all the different options and doors that the VA loan provides, which is zero money down, lower interest rate, the best refinance options out there, because you can do a streamline where you can do a refinance to lower your interest rate. You can do a cash out that allows you to pull out 100% of the equity that you have in the property and not be required to keep that 20% that most loans, most cash outs will require, right? So the non-veteran, right? And that I'll go over the first one, and then if you want to pick up the next one, man. So the first one is when you have a non-veteran that's looking at partnering with the veteran, right? And then they are going on the loan, meaning that they are going to have to, they're going to be required to bring in some down payment funds. Okay, so the amount that we're looking at is 12.5%. Why is that? It's because of what a VA loan is, right? Even though we call it a VA loan, it's not a loan that comes from the VA itself. Okay, it's a government backed loan, so it's backed by the VA by 25%. So what they do is, simple math, they split that down the middle, right? And we say, okay, the veteran has already his 12.5% covered. We will give you and offer the same protection, so to speak. We'll offer the same amount of insurance and give you all the benefits. You just got to kind of contribute your part. So 12.5% is what the non-veteran puts in, and then that's what's going to open them up to go through with the transaction as if they are veterans. So meaning that later on down the line, you can tap into this the same way that the veteran would. And now the best part is, you as a non-veteran, you're not required to reside in the property. The only one that needs to maintain that owner occupancy status is the veteran. So you as a non-veteran, you can go into this strictly as an investment, right? So how would that be? You as a non-veteran partner with the veteran, you buy a multi-unit, the veteran resides in one of the units, the other units are rented out, okay? You don't have to reside in it. The property goes up in value. You do a cash out refinance. So you pull the money back out. So the 12.5% that you put in, there's a way for you to withdraw all of that money back, right? And then now you guys can take the funds along with the appreciation that you put in, right? And use those funds to acquire more property. And then you start ping ponging. So I'll land there, Ian. Go ahead, bro.
Ian. Okay, so guys, so essentially, the beauty of doing a partnership with a veteran, okay, is that, again, you coming in and leveraging that veteran's VA loan. Number one, no minimum credit score. That means that there's no minimum credit score, no maximum loan amount. And then the third and final one, which is the most valuable, is the 100% cash out refinance. So I buy a distressed property. Okay, that basically means that I bought a property that is below market value, right? And I need to work with a veteran. Yes, Alma, yeah, I know. I buy a property 100% financing, and then I wanted to do a cash out refinance. That means that I can take all of the equity position out of the property, right? Let's just say I bought a distressed property at $500,000, and the property, I did the concessions rule, and I got $40,000 to do a complete bathroom and kitchen and flooring remodel for the property. So when I closed on that property, the appraised value now is I bought it for $500,000. I utilized concessions from the seller. That means that I invoiced the holding company, which is the escrow company holding the money, and I did the rehab of the property. That means the after repair value is $650,000 because of the rehab, right? Because of comparable sales in the area, and this is a multifamily. So now when I close on that property, I have an improved property, and then I have $150,000 of equity in the property. So everybody put 210 in the chat right now. I want to see everybody on TikTok, LinkedIn, X, okay, Twitter, Facebook, okay, wherever you're checking in right now. I want everybody to put 210. This is a very important number. 210, 210, 210. Okay, I'm waiting. 210. 210, everybody. Okay, if you don't want to put it, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay, put 210 in the chat right now. 210. Okay, so that means 210 after the first mortgage payment, you could take 100% of the equity out. That means that I decided that I wanted to buy a property. The property went at $150,000. I'm not going to take all of the equity. I'm going to leave 50. Lavish, do you have a question? I can hear baby.
Ooh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, you don't have to go down. You can come up. You can come up if you want to. I'll just put you on mute because if you have a question, I'll answer your question. Okay, so and shout out to baby. Okay, we love babies in here, man. We got 2 on the way right now. Uncle Tony's excited, man. You know what I'm saying? The baby's going to be asking why I'm so dark though, because we have Ian Jensen and Bruno Nascimento are going to have they have a baby boy and a baby girl on the way in 2 weeks, guys. So put a congratulations in the chat for that. Can y'all say congratulations, please? I want everybody to put congratulations to my 2 brothers right now for babies on the way. Okay. They came in first place. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Okay. Congratulations, Bruno and Ian, on my nephew and niece. I'm excited to hold baby and then give lots of hugs and kisses to the babies on the way. Okay. So, and speaking of babies, man, you know, the reason why this stuff is important and the things that we're sharing is because, you know, the whole reason why we get on here and we talk about real estate to the capacity that we talk about it is because, you know, when our family, when we're talking about these strategies, we want you to be able to have money in your pocket. We want you to be able to have passive income. We want you guys to be able to feel comfortable when investing in real estate. And also we want you to raise your kid in a house that you own. Okay? So we're not just educating people on how to, sometimes it's not about you. Once you figure out who you're doing real estate for and why you need to get in this game, it becomes easier for you to get through the challenges through it. Okay. So sometimes the answer to your problem is through it. Okay. Let me say that again. Sometimes the answer to your problem is through it. What does that mean to you, Bruno or Ian? Entrepreneur. What do you think I mean by that?
You know, man, a lot of times
in the work you're avoiding.
Go ahead, Ian. What'd you say?
But I hear somebody say the same thing, like the solution to your problem is in the work you're avoiding.
Exactly. 110%. I want to be able to go swimming with my shirt off. But thank you for the kisses. right? I want to be able to go swimming with my shirt off. But in order for me to do that, I know that I got to do some crunches and I got to stop eating the Scooby snacks. So in order for me to walk around with my, with my shirt off, okay, so I'm not showing all of my goodies, make sure I ain't got to wear no sports bra. I got to work out. Same situation as real estate. You got to work at it. You got to work through it to get the experience, man. But go ahead, Bruno. You wanted to say something?
Oh no, man. I was just supporting you when he said, wanting to be out there with the shirt off. I said, yeah. And then when he said like no Scooby snacks, I said, oh.
Guys, listen, we're all been there, man, but you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to go through this investment journey alone, guys. The reason why we pour so much information into you is so we got to give you what you need in order to get more comfortable with doing the things that you don't need to do. It doesn't get any easier. You just get more conditioned to doing the work by experience. Okay, it's very simple. First thing, create a plan. I want to buy a piece of real estate. Okay, Ian, I like what Ian said yesterday. He said I need to create a hard deadline. When do I want to have the real estate? I want to have the real estate before December 1st. Okay, so first thing is now I got a target that I need to meet. Second thing is that I'm going to pick a location. Third thing I'm going to do is talk to the bank. Hey, I'm looking to purchase a property before this date. Okay, I got, so now I get the money. And then if they tell me no, Bruno, what can we do? What is a what if scenario?
A what if scenarios, man, is when they take a look at where you are and where it is that we want to be, right? And then they create the roadmap, right? But it's like a customized, specific thing where, it's not a just general advice, right? It's us taking numbers and saying, okay, if you were to do this exactly, if you make this payment, if you bring this specific debt down to this amount, right? If you make these payments by this date, this is how it can affect your credit or your FICO score. So now that this way we can be in a position for us to do a rapid rescore down the line for you to be in a more favorable position for you to get a better loan, right? But it's the answer, man. It's the cheat sheet. It's the answer to the quiz.
And that's it. And guys, this is the reason why we talk about these things, guys. Like when we're discussing these things, we're trying to tell you innovative ways to get through getting to where we're at. And for those of you that are on the show, we appreciate you guys. Hey, Ian and Bruno, we got 37 people on YouTube Live right now. Okay. So, guys, I appreciate you guys pulling up. Let me do a quick room reset. Welcome to the Win in Real Estate Show. Guys, myself, I will be in Miami on the 14th through the 18th. Okay, I can't travel with my crew this time because they got babies on the way. But then we'll also be in North Carolina at the end of August. We just got some dates. So if you guys are interested in linking up with us real time, somebody bring Otis up. Okay, so if you guys are interested in rocking out with us and getting on linking up with us, North Carolina, the end of August. And then, guys, if you guys want this information, okay, and you're looking to get this information, we're going to give you the free concessions cheat sheet, the stuff that we talked about earlier. Okay, all you guys got to do is text us. The phone number is 760-573-2731. Okay, and Alma, we will be coming out to Texas soon too. Okay, so, and guys, we do virtual events as well. So if you're interested in getting investment strategies, myself, Otis, Bruno, and Ian, we teach on a national level. So it doesn't matter where you're at, just like right now. But as a matter of fact, I want to know where you guys checking in from. We got Texas and North Carolina in the building. Where else are you guys checking in from? What state are you guys checking in from? West Side, California, you know what I'm saying? TikTok doesn't allow us to play any damn music because I know we'd be banging out right now, Otis. Well, YouTube doesn't. We won't be able to monetize. New York, we got Florida in the building. Where else? Where else are you guys checking in from? Philly in the building. Virginia. Okay. Victorville, California. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, brother. Okay. We got Florida in the building. Where else are you guys checking in from? Ohio in the building. So again, guys, 760-573-2731. Again, that number is 760-573-2731. 2731. All you got to do is shoot us a text message. We'll send you the concessions cheat sheet. That way, when you guys get ready to buy property, you can look at it and you can tell them where you want to effectively put that money at. And I just showed you at a 6.5% interest rate. Okay, $10,000 after closing, we're putting that towards an interim principal payment. Will save you $56,000 in interest to the bank. So that means that you expedite your monthly payment. A $10,000 payment will avoid $56,000. Okay, so the reason why we're talking to you guys about this is because most wholesalers and real estate agents don't know this. So we like to get on this show and talk to you guys about this. All right. Now, who has questions that they would like to propose to us? Okay. What are some of the fears with today's market? What are some of the challenges that you guys see out there that we can help you guys through? Now, we got people on the live. Type your question in the chat. I see people that are on X checking in. Appreciate you guys. If you guys have real estate questions, put them in the chat. We're here to answer any of your questions. What questions do you guys have? How do you get started in real estate? How do you become a broker? How did you start the 4 data points? Anything. Your live is flagged for personal information. Repeat violations could result in, I'm not giving personal information.
They're ridiculous, bro. They I don't know why they.
Hey, did you say a phone number?
No, I didn't. I sent a text, and it's not, no, that's not my personal number. So it ain't personal. TikTok, stop showing my live to people in the hood, okay? TikTok, if you're listening to me, if you thought I gave my personal number, TikTok, show my live to a veteran people. Unless you guys are racist, why don't you put my content in front of more veterans? I'm a veteran. I post about veterans every day. TikTok, if you're listening, please put my live in front of people who want to invest in real estate. Also, TikTok, could you please put my live in front of people who are going to share the live? I would really appreciate that. And the number is 760-573-2731. That's not my personal number. That's actually a website that you guys could text. Okay, so thanks TikTok for listening and not shutting me down.
And start showing ads for Black people hair products like S Curl, rags.
Oh man, if you have gout, stop showing. Once y'all show some gout, show our live to people who got gout. Okay, because I know if you got gout, they probably got a big wallet too. All right, that means they probably can buy some stuff, bro. That was quick. When we get the last 4, 2731. 760-573-2731. That is not my personal information. Okay. All right. So TikTok's quit trying to block haters. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We love you. No, I ain't going to say haters because then they ain't going to show them shadow ban. Somebody's on the live right now. Look like this.
Say it again.
Say it
I
again.
dare you. Say it again.
Say it again. I'm going to shut you down. Man, come on, man. We're just trying to get in front of more vets, please. Okay. More veteran followers, more real estate investor followers. Okay. Stop putting Craig and Day Day on my live. Okay. TikTok be like, oh, he's colored. Let me put some colored people on this live. All right, let's get back to the show, guys. What questions do you guys have about real estate that you guys would like to propose to us? Tony, I need the blueprint, brother, trying to use the VA loan. Eddie, I got you. Okay, Eddie, shoot me a text. Eddie, if you're on my live, here's the number, 760. Okay, I just put that number in the chat. Eddie D, I got you. Okay, so now let's go over. Otis, can you talk about the 4 data points, please?
Yep, it is 4 questions that investors use it serves multiple purposes. So the first thing, I really came up with it for new people to keep them out of trouble and keep them from getting into something that they can't get out of. So 4 questions. What does it cost? What does it cost to fix up? What's it going to be worth when I'm done? How much income can it generate? I also utilize that process to save me time. When I get a bunch of deals from wholesalers in my inbox, I need those 4 questions answered, or I'm moving to the next deal to review. And lastly, I would say it removes the emotional component from making a decision. So when people are, reluctant to pull the trigger on a particular deal and they've answered those 4 questions, it's a matter of, okay, well, what does the math tell me? So it keeps people focused on, what they're supposed to be focused on, which is the math when assessing these deals. So that's 4 data points. 4 Data Points Academy was built on that foundation, and then we build the learning process off of that foundation. So that's what it is.
And guys, so that I just want to let you guys know that I gave Otis all that information. He came over here and he was drinking my Hennessy, and I said, you know what, the number 4 just seems like a good thing, man. And then he said, you know what, that data sounds great, man. So I pointed him in the right directions, and that's how 4 data points came up. That was back when I didn't have blonde in my beard, and
Well,
He
you
was
know,
I gave
also
him
trying
the
to give me a
questions. I
massage. He
actually
was
gave
trying to
him
give me a
those
massage
questions.
at the same time. He was like, I just felt somebody rubbing my back, and I was like, so it wasn't like I was listening to him, but I was just very uncomfortable and didn't want to make any sudden moves. But he was like, and then he tried to whisper in my ear, and his lip touched my earlobe. It was awkward, man.
hell no, dog.
He didn't blink the whole time.
Otis, I was telling you 4 data. Like, man, what's going on, man? Guys, we like having fun in this room, guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are enjoying the show, man. We listen, guys. We're gonna be doing these rooms every Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Listen, this is what you're gonna get. Number 1, how to set up an LLC. We got that all the time. LLC versus S corp versus C corp. Guys, put in the chat what you guys want to learn. Number 2, how to structure a trust to protect your personal assets. Number 3, how to negotiation strategies. Number 4, how to maximize the VA home loan benefit if you're an investor. Okay. Number 5, how to underwrite properties, the mathematical portion of the math, buying single family homes versus multifamily. Number 6, 9 references to underwriting the deal, step by step on how to analyze commercial real estate. Okay, the example would be net operating income and gross income and net income, or all of the things that you guys need to basically get into the multifamily space. Seller financing, anything that you guys need to know, all things real estate, guys. We're going to be doing this every Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays between 9 and 11:30 because I'm always late. Okay, I keep saying 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I never start on time. But the part about it is that we're committed to, we want you guys to become investors. And if you guys like this specific space, we're going to continue to do it as long as you keep sharing. And guys, we will be able to share my screen as soon as you guys get me to 10,000 followers. Make sure you follow Bruno, Ian, Otis, and then also my brother, Entrepreneur. He's a visitor here. But these are my head teammates, okay? Our teammates is Bruno, Ian, and Otis. Make sure you give them a follow and Entrepreneur a supporter, because here's the deal. When you help us, the best way to learn from somebody is to help them grow. We got 25 people here right now, and we only got 16 shares. So for those of you that are in this space, if you guys want us to unlock, let's give them this nugget. If you guys want to know how we find general contractors or vet general contractors, put a 1 in the chat. If you guys want to know how we vet contractors or vet general contractors, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. All right. So we'll do that once we get to 2,000 likes on TikTok and 25 shares. So I need 6 people out of the 23 people that are here to share this to your space. The reason why we're asking you to share and like, guys, is because this helps us get more people here so we can blow up. So, and then I can share my screen instead of having to hold my iPad and do all types of other goofy stuff, guys. So we'll really appreciate the support. And I want to go to Otis first. Can you give us one way to find a general contractor if you're doing a rehab? What is one thing? And then I want to go to Ian and then Bruno.
Yeah, if you're new, so as investors, we typically will ask other investors if we're investing in a place that we've never invested before. But if we're coming in blind, then there's options. You could use Thumbtack, Angie's List. You could use all those options. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's to their pro desk and ask for referrals or references. But ultimately, how you find them isn't that's not what's going to make or break you. It's how you vet them. You can find them from anywhere, but how you vet them is the important part. And you got to make sure you have your documentation in place once you find your contractor, the one that you're going to be using.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. Okay, vetting process. Okay, so what are some of the questions that you would ask if you were looking for a general contractor? What are some of the red flags, Bruno or Ian? Let's jump into it.
So, man, from my personal experience, business and personal, I will tell you, I have an incredible amount of experience at finding really bad contractors. I mean, that is my forte, bro. But you know what, Doc? The reason why I'm so good at finding bad contractors is because I often don't follow my own advice. You know what I mean? So this is why if you go to court, you don't represent yourself. If you go into a real estate deal, you don't represent yourself either, right? It's because you often don't follow your own advice. So if they are completely open and ready to go, and my friend, I help you tomorrow, that is a red flag number one. It means that they are not busy. Good contractors are so hard to find that once you find a good contractor, right? Again, I invest in real estate. I do a lot of real estate transactions. I own a property management company. I deal with contractors all the time. When I find ones that are really good, I cling on to them for dear life, right? And then I just keep them busy. And sometimes I try to keep them busy so that they don't have time to get business from anywhere else so they can be available for me, right?
You selfish bastard.
Yes, I am. God damn it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Listen, guys, the things that we're gonna tell you is to get to keep you out of trouble. Okay, so here's one of the first ones and the easiest ones that I'll cover. So Otis said vetting. Okay, Bruno said getting started right away, which are very two good ones. And then number 3 is they're licensed. Okay, something as simple as looking up their license and insurance, getting that license and insurance. And then, I mean, this is very easy. The next one, just research them. What do customers say about them? Okay. And what I would do is ask them, hey, is there a project that I can walk that you're doing right now that I could take a look at what you're doing now? Don't be alarmed if you get there and people are hanging out. Okay. All right. For some reason, any rehab that I've ever done, if I was ever to rock a project or visit a project, it's always Jose's always chilling. Okay. And the reason why I like to, I'm going to ask, is that contractor have somebody that's going to be managing the project, is because usually that contractor has laborers. And I have a question. How do laborers get paid?
From their labor, from the contractor.
And by the what?
Hour.
By the hour. Okay. So I don't want, and I'm going to tell you right now, man, listen, if you're doing any type of rehab and it's a big one and they got laborers and stuff like that, and they have a something called a scope of work and a payment schedule, okay, put that in the chat, because I'm going to ask Otis to break down the scope of work, and I'm going to ask Ian to break down the payment schedule. Okay. The reason why we're telling you guys about this stuff is how tight your paperwork is, okay, is going to determine how efficient that contractor is going to work. Okay, administrative process in you can have the best damn flooring person on the planet, but if your paperwork is incorrect, you're gonna lose some money. Okay, now, so let's go to Otis first, guys. Otis, do you want to go ahead and rock out real quick on what did I ask you about the? Did I ask you the scope of work?
Scope of work, yeah. But before you get to the scope of work, keep in mind that there's some states where you're not there's no contractor licensing requirements, but they still have to pass code. So if there's no contractor licensing requirement, you're in one of those states, then all of the other stuff needs to matter to you, right? So pay attention to the red flags. No insurance. You're going to have insurance on any one of my jobs, right? If you have no written contract, they just give you a real vague estimate, but not a written contract. That's a lack of professionalism. That means they're not on top of their stuff. If they demand full payment up front, that's a huge red flag. If you get multiple bids, which you should be, and one comes in extremely low, that's a huge red flag. That means they don't have the overhead like the other contractors do, which means they have a whole bunch of people to pay, which means your job is going to take longer, which means you're going to have an increase in carrying costs. If they don't have any references, if they don't communicate well, because that's going to be your point of contact for communicating on the job. So if they don't have good communication, that's going to show up and it's going to cost you something. If they have negative online reviews, if you're using Thumbtack or Angie's List or any of those, look at the reviews. Those are pretty accurate most of the time. And this is a big one that a lot of people don't take into consideration. If they don't have a physical address.
Oh,
that is something that every legitimate contractor should have an office address. And it's a red flag because the lack of a physical address can make it hard to track them if issues arise. So verify their business address and visit if possible, right? So I've got a whole laundry list. Now, once we get into the scope of work, this is where a lot of people get caught because they utilize the contractor's estimate as the scope of work. But the contractor's estimates are rarely detailed enough.
Yep.
For example, one line item on a contractor's estimate may say, replace kitchen cabinets, $1,200. And then it goes to the next line. But what about a scope of work for the replacement of the kitchen cabinets? What are you going to do with the old cabinets? Is there going to be some quality control into you prepping? How are you going to clean up? Do I got to get a dumpster and I'm on my own to get rid of the old cabinets? Are you going to incorporate any required electrical changes or plumbing changes to accommodate the new cabinets? All of those things need to be addressed with that one line item. So here's a tip, and this is one thing that we're teaching right now to my students. If you have a contractor's estimate and there's one line item, paste that line item into, I use ChatGPT, but you could use Gemini or any of the AI things. Paste that one line item in there and say, give me a detailed scope of work for this line item and include materials. I promise you, it's going to take that one line item and give you a whole page scope of work for that one line item. I do that for every line item, put them together, and then I mark that document as Exhibit A, and then I refer to the Exhibit A as the scope of work in my contract where it says other terms. That is how you make sure that your scope of work is airtight. Otherwise, there's things that you're going to leave to common sense that's going to actually show up as a change order because the contractor is going to say, oh, well, that wasn't in my estimate. So you alleviate all of those issues by having a detailed scope of work.
And let me show this real quick. So take a look at this, guys. This is the reason why I'm telling you this stuff. Look at this garbage write-up right here. I'm going to show you what a bad one looks like, okay? So I had a person come out here and do, this is the pool person. I'm just going to show it to you guys. I don't care. All right. So look at this. Okay. Kitchen trellis. Okay. None of this stuff is, look at this. Look at the scope of work. This is supposed to be a scope of work right here. Look at it. Now down here, you see they want to charge me $30,000 on this page and then another $121,000. Cleanup and sales tax. Look, $121,000. Boom, there it is right there. For what? I'm like,
did they break down materials and labor?
Hell no. Okay, look at this. Outdoor kitchen, discount layout equipment, kitchen trellis cover, precast columns, okay, fire pit trellis, fire pit area. It doesn't say none of this stuff or how much it costs. Where are the material costs at? Okay, because they'll give you an estimate, they'll write you an estimate and you think this is okay. No, I want to know how much each line item on the scope of work is going to be, how much are the materials, because you're paying the person for, typically you're paying the contractor for their connections and labor, not parts. And the reason why they like to do this is because if you got let's just say a kitchen trellis cover, that kitchen trellis cover on this line, it says right here, it says $10,968. Well, where's the labor at? Is that the cost of the materials or is that cost and labor? You don't know because it's a garbage write-up. So as we're going through this stuff and I'm showing you guys these things, it's very critical for when you guys are doing this stuff to where you could actually physically see. And then Balkan Activity, are you streaming elsewhere? Yes, I'm live on YouTube. So if you go on YouTube right now on that link that I have pinned in the chat, you'll be able to see that. Okay, but go ahead, Otis.
So you also have to look at, okay, well, if you're not gonna break it down, first of all, that's a red flag. I want to know what materials are going to be used and how much they cost, and then I want to look at labor because I have the option of buying my own materials. I can walk in there with Chase Sapphire, American Express, and at least buy the materials and then go take a vacation with my points. And if there's any issues, then you can take that up with Amex or Chase or whoever I use. So that's important for me. Also, in some states you can't tax on labor. So I would make sure that I understand whether that's okay to do in whatever state you are. That may have changed since I last looked, but there are some states where taxing on labor is not allowed. So, or is that tax on the entire amount? You can do the math to determine that. As far as anything else, as far as scope of work, just know that you should always have some cushion, and there's always going to be some things that come up if you are pulling off ceilings and pulling off sheetrock and pulling up flooring. There's some things that you can't see that are going to come up, so you have to account for that. So I'll typically do a 15% contingency in my overall budget for my scope of work. Also, if you're an investor and you are utilizing a mortgage product that pays for the rehab, I want to see how the contractor is going to handle reimbursements because you have to draw on these funds, and I need to make sure that I can communicate with the contractor to make sure that our process is in alignment with the lender's process for reimbursements. So, bro, I have like 5 pages of stuff that we can get into just for scope of work, but that's the gist of it. It's got to be as detailed as possible, and don't allow the contractor to make the scope of work. That's where some of my students I have gone, a little, sideways, and I've had to come in and kind of redirect. When you ask the contractor for a scope of work, you're allowing the contractor to make all of the decisions of what needs to be done. You need to make the decisions of what needs to be done. So here's a tip. Even if you don't know how much everything costs, you can do a walkthrough and figure out the things that you want done.
Hmm.
And all you got to do is take a picture. When I fly across the country and I know I'm going to have to do a rehab, I don't do it on site. I take a picture of every single room, multiple pictures in rooms, light fixtures, outlets, electrical panels, any plumbing junctions, any cleanouts of the entire house. And then I go home and study each picture and do my scope of work, and then have the contractor give me a bid based on my scope of work. That's going to be the most accurate bid you're going to get, as opposed to just reaching out to the contractor and say, "Hey, I want to remodel my kitchen. Can you come in and give me an estimate?" So just food for thought. But that's where most people lose their money in the rehab process. And when you make a living making ugly things pretty, right? Making things worth more than you bought them for, that is where you're going to see most of your profit or most of your losses in the value add component. Go ahead, Ant. Back to you, brother.
And here's another piece too, guys. When you guys are doing, and the reason why we're telling you guys this stuff is because, as you can hear in this conversation, we have some experience with this stuff, guys. You don't have to do it alone. Again, here's another thing. If you guys are interested in getting this information, this stuff is going to be in the Facebook group where you guys could download these things. We're going to be sending you this information, and it's going to be posted today. You're going to get, we'll give you some information on some of the things that you guys need to do in regard to picking good contractors. And then also we'll post the concessions hot sheet. Now, one of the things that I also have noticed when Otis brought up something that was really good that I want to highlight. When you guys are going to get materials and things of that nature, what I like to do is why not send a home inspector there, right? Go get a home inspection. So the home inspection is going to check the plumbing, heating, air, electrical, foundation, and roof anyway of the property, because sometimes a contractor will say, oh, you need a new AC unit, and you don't. Maybe the AC unit needs to be, maintenanced. So when you guys are doing these things, and I also can take that information that I got if I'm doing a rehab, and I can get the materials that I need, go to Home Depot, Lowe's, open up a pros account, and then negotiate on those materials. And then what I want to be able to do is know what they're buying that way, because what will happen is that sometimes if some contractors will be utilizing your nails, hammers, and all types of other stuff for another project, right? So, I want to know exactly what they're using, how much square footage, because think about it, if they're not using those materials, some of these people, one of the biggest mistakes that I made when doing my first rehab is that I paid a contractor up front. And then when he was done, I know beyond reasonable doubt that there was materials left over. And guess what they did with those materials? Utilize that material for another project.
Yeah, I saw my flooring in a contractor's treehouse for his kids one time.
And guys, let's go over this last and final thing, payment schedule. And then this is let me do the final reset, guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys enjoyed the show today, because again, if you guys want to get on a free consultation call with us or get this information that we talked about today for free, you're going to text the word WIN to 760-573-2731. That is not my personal number, TikTok, so stop trying to shut me down, okay? That's how we will be able to identify you and get that free information to you guys. And then if you guys have any questions or comments, you can put them in the chat. But and then, guys, make sure you follow myself, Bruno, Ian, and Otis, okay? And shout out to Entrepreneur for pulling up. Give him a follow as well. Guys, the more followers that we get, the easier it is for us to talk here. We're on a mission to help 100 people become millionaires in the next 2 years. So if you guys want to get on a free consultation call with us and rock out with us, we're going to put you on that millionaire roadmap, okay? It's free. All you got to do is hit us up, get on the phone call, okay? And then we'll rock out with you guys. Are there any questions that you guys would like to propose before we go over to Bruno with the payment schedule and why that's important? Any questions?
I was just going to add one more red flag. Contractors that they like to thin themselves out because they want to cover multiple projects at one time.
That's a good one, Entrepreneur. That's actually a good one because so typically when people so when you get your payment schedule and your scope of work, here's another big mistake that I made when doing a contract. Never, ever, ever give the contract the last payment if they did additions on your property without getting your permits recorded. This is a huge mistake. Let me give you an example. Okay, contractor goes in. You just added an extra bathroom or you added an extra bedroom and it requires for you electrical work and it requires plumbing or something like that. When you do those things and you added, let's just say you added 200 square feet or you added something that they did some phenomenal work, everything is working. In order to get started, that permit gets pulled. They agreed to make that, right? And then you didn't get the final permit recorded and you got an extra 1,000 square feet. No appraiser can give you value to that addition if it's not recorded. Why? Number one, if they give you value to that and it requires structure and there's an accident, that appraiser and anybody who gave evaluation can be subject to lawsuit. So that's the reason why they want, that's one reason. The second reason is for safety reasons as well. So you want to make sure that everything is done to code because you don't want to have them add that addition. And then if there's any unpermitted additions to property, that's always going to be a red flag for me when investing in real estate. Anybody want to jump in? Otis, Bruno, anybody want to add value to that?
Yeah, and keep in mind, I know Bruno's getting ready to go over the payment schedule, but when it comes to investing from a distance, one of the most important components and what allows you to not just set the tone, but control actual people's movements and how they perform is the payment schedule. So go ahead, I'm gonna kick it over to you, Bruno, but just pay attention because that's how I do it from 2,500 miles away. And I have properties that I've purchased, rehabbed, and sold, and I've had for years that I've never seen in person. So go ahead, Bruno. I'm gonna throw it up to you, brother.
Or Ian, do you want to go over the payment schedule real quick? And then we're going to wrap up here. Guys, if you guys enjoyed the show, put a 1 in the chat, guys, because we're going to wrap up here soon. I appreciate, guys, I want to say thank you, guys, for hopping on the call today. We really appreciate you rocking out with us, guys. Again, 760-573-2731. If you guys want the replay to this room, we will send you the replay today so you can go back on here, listen, and take notes because some of you guys are driving. Again, that number is 760-573-2731. Okay, shoot us a text message and then we'll give you the concessions hot list. We'll give you the Facebook group where you can download it And then also, we will give you that concessions hot sheet on how you can do it. Mimi doesn't allow me to pin it for some reason. Okay, for some reason I try to pin it and won't allow me to. Okay, so a payment schedule. Ian, can you explain why that's important and what is it used for?
All right, so a payment schedule is just what Otis mentioned. It's a way of controlling the pace and elements that are going on at a construction project when work are being done by an outside contractor. All right, so what happens, unfortunately, to a lot of people is contractors steal their money, and in more ways than one, right? And I'm not trying to paint a bad picture here with contractors, because there are many very hardworking, talented and creative people that do contracting work. However, I mean, unfortunately, the bad ones get famous. But what it is meant to, or what we're trying to depict here, is the fact that if you control the money, you can control the work that's going on. So if you just drop a bag of money on somebody's desk and say, "Here, take care of it," there's a lot of people who are going to inflate the price of materials, inflate the price of costs that they incur, and unfortunately, and some of it might go up missing, right? So by paying for work as it's being completed, and you can minimize the loss of money that you're going to incur. So, and this also means too, there's a fair amount of education that you need to go through about what's a acceptable condition of a job being done, right? So, for instance, like shoot, what did I just do yesterday? Something simple, right? I had steps get put in on, like wooden steps get put in on a porch, but they didn't take the steps to the end of the porch, right? They only had made a shorter steps than I was expecting. So what do? Right? So you have to make sure that you have a clear understanding with the contractor about the expectation that you are going to receive, and their understanding of your expectation. And that's what has to do with mainly the scope of work. So that way, in case somebody, either you didn't explain your idea correctly, or the contractor didn't build the thing that you communicated correctly, each of you have a way of holding each other accountable. So that way you don't have somebody go, hog wild and do a bunch of work. Then all of a sudden, by the time it's done, it's too late, and they already have the money. You have no leverage to be able to have them come back or have them change something. Like Tony, tell them about your the story about your fire pit and the water intrusion that you had at your
Oh
fire pit.
yes. Okay. So check this out, guys. So here on I put the contractor on a specific payment schedule, and they were doing a sunken fire. I have a sunken fire pit. Basically, the water pours from my pool into the fire pit, and then one of the columns was leaking water because they failed to seal the exterior of it, and the water was pouring into my was pouring from the pillars, because when they put the pillars out there, they didn't put they didn't shiplap the wall, which is basically like this black tar that they put. So anytime you have dirt and you have concrete, you have to seal it so you don't have water intrusion or efflorescence coming from the wall. And basically, if I wouldn't have had that in place, that guy was asking for money, and I wouldn't give him a dime until he had to redo that fire pit like 3 times to get it right. And I said, "Hey, man," I owed him some money, and I said, "No, I'm not giving you another dime until you fix this." If he would have had that money, that fire pit would have still been leaking today, right? So what it does is a payment schedule. It basically is risk mitigation for you as a consumer, that allows them to get it correct. It allows transparency, okay, and accountability, and it's incentivized performance milestones that a contractor has to meet, complementary to the progression of the contract. Okay, so what it does is that if if the project is $50,000, let me give you an example. If the project is $50,000 and then it takes, let's just say 6 weeks, right? Then what is that? Okay, so $50,000 divided by 6. Damn. What is that, Ian?
800.
Yeah, that's $8,000, approximately $8,000. In 6 weeks. You can break it down like that, and then within that time frame, you can also break it down. This is just an example. This is not the only way. But then again, another thing that a payment schedule does is that time can kill the finance part of a project. Let me explain what I mean by that. You got a hard money loan, and a contractor has a payment schedule and a scope of work, and that contractor orders the wrong size windows, right? You got to have provisions in place, especially because you have the amortization schedule that is kicking in when you borrowed that money. So if you add an extra 6 weeks or 8 weeks onto that project for a time delay or permits, that could slow down everything. Contractor gets the wrong window. Now you got a delay on the project. Okay. Now the amortization, hey, whoever lended you that money, especially if it's a hard money loan or private money, guess what? How do you protect yourself from that? Right? Putting contingencies in place to make sure that you're protected. And I know Otis wants to jump all over this one because I know he's like this. He's leaning in. But Otis, go ahead and wrap us up, man. And guys, if you guys are enjoying this conversation, put a 1 in the chat, guys, because this is the last and final reset. I'm going to let Otis touch on a couple more things, and then we're going to have our outros, guys. We do these rooms every Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so we went over the payment schedule and scope of work. There's so many other things that's going to help you protect you from getting in trouble. But these are just 2 fundamental things that you guys could put so you start understanding the terminology so you don't make the same mistakes that we made. But go ahead, Otis. I know you wanted to add another nugget in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, about insurance. Don't just require them to have general liability insurance and workman's comp insurance like that. They need that. That's mandatory. But also make sure that your investment company is listed on the insurance as additional insured. Then you want to make sure you have their W-9. If you're paying them over $600, make sure you have a W-9 for them. Even if they just come in as a handyman and it doesn't amount to $600, if you're going to use them repeatedly, make sure you have that W-9 on file. So when you 1099 at the end of the year, you have all of their information. And then the last thing is a lien release. And I think you touched on this before, Anthony, but a lien release just makes sure that they can't come after you due to non-payment or for any disagreement. It makes it so they can't put a mechanic's lien on the property. So as long as you can vet the contractors. And I know some contractors out there they'll pass the vetting process, but when they get on site, they're just trash. You have to have your documentation in order. Contractor agreement, scope of work, payment schedule. And by the way, all 3 of those should be incorporated into the same document. Mm-hmm. Right? Insurance, W-9, lien release. As long as you have those in order, then even when things go sideways, and make sure that you're smart about your payment schedule. Don't just give them too much up front, and don't pay them for work they haven't done. In corporate, when we go start a new job, do we show up the first day and be like, yeah, can I get that paycheck? I need you to run that. No. It's okay to be wrong about a contractor, just don't be wrong long. And if you have to fire one, make sure that you're not in a position where you have to chase them down or her down for money that's owed to you. So as long as you take all this stuff into consideration, you'll be safe on the rehab process. And then we'll see you guys at the promised land. Go ahead, Ant.
That's good, guys. And guys, again, welcome to Win in Real Estate, man. Hey, guys, this was a fire room today, man. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys learned something today that you can implement into your business. Okay. And guys, we're going to be on here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. So if you guys enjoyed the show, we're going to be on TikTok on a regular basis from now on. Please help us get to 10,000 followers. That way we'll be able to share our screen. How do you do that? Give me a follow, like a couple of my posts, follow Ian, follow Bruno, follow Otis. Okay. Entrepreneur, thank you for being a guest. We really appreciate you pulling up. Guys, give these guys a follow, because what this does is it helps us get in front of more people so we can help more people. And, in closing, guys, listen, get started in the game, dude. Okay. Like, stop being a serial procrastinator. Okay. If you want passive income, we'll help you get there. All you have to do, guys, is text us. Text 760-573-2731. Sign up for the, get in the Facebook group. Look at some of the YouTubes that we have out there. Get into 4 Data Points. Register for that. 4datapoints.com. Get out here. Become an investor. We have this stuff every single. We're committed to helping you guys become real estate investors. We feel like superheroes. We give this information out for free on TikTok specifically, so you guys can encourage you to get out and get out of the rat race. Okay. So, Ian, quick outro.
Hey everybody! All right, I want to thank y'all for coming in here. This has been actually a really fantastic room. Every time we always get these great people on stage, we always pass along a lot of great information. I was hoping that you were able to take a bunch of notes here, take a bunch of action plans, and make something happen for yourself. We talked a lot about these things. These are really, really expensive lessons that you guys just got today. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you could know everything and then still screw it up once you get in there in real time. But I mean, these are things that could really help you out. So just imagine what you would have been if you jumped into it completely blind. All right. So I'm really glad everybody came in here. I'm proud of y'all. So let's make a play to get out there and win. And then
I always get the same amount of numbers as Ian. Is that because he's just extremely likable? Or I don't know what's going on there. He is not even on camera, and we get the same amount of. That means it's all in his voice. So even with my appearance, I still can't compete with Ian. I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute. Am I talking? I'm sorry.
And guys, man, listen. These are our family members. The only people that I be having on stage that help me teach are people that I actually we have actually done business together, or I've vetted. So. Make sure you guys give them a follow, because sharing is caring. And everybody on here are people that we work with. Okay, so these are, and guys, I'm gonna tell you a secret. A person that's banging it out on the stage, and that you can't find them and they have no receipts. Good luck with that. Make sure that you guys are getting in contact with people that you can vet and research. Okay, we have everybody that's on the live right now has proof of concept. You guys are buying a $20,000, $30,000 platform off of TikTok where you can get a lot of this information for free. And we give this information out because we know whatever seeds that we plant, and you guys keep coming back. We have 7,300 people that we have proof with, and over 250,000 people in our social media universe. Okay, and over $1 billion in real estate sales and acquisition. Okay. And 7 real estate companies and partners and buildings and commercial real estate with receipts, and over 700 Google reviews of what we do. So, I'm beating my chest. I know that our partners, you're not going to get better information like this for free. Okay. So keep coming back, keep sharing and liking the information that we have. And we'll see you guys tomorrow around the same time. Okay. Have a great day.